All right, what's going on? Marco here. And this one, I'm going to go over 5 mistakes made in 2023. This world is changing so crazy. You have to adapt. It's adapt or die. And the things that happened this week, working with people on Zoom, coaching, mentorship, all that kind of stuff, I get a lot of questions and uh, seeing what happens with people, it's so clear some of the things that stops people and we accidentally sabotage ourselves. And I know because I used to do it. We grew up poor. We didn't know any of this stuff. We weren't very aware, and I didn't know any really ultra successful, multimillionaires or billionaires that can help me with this stuff. And it's a lot of blind spots. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over 5 that I experienced this week. All right, mistakes in 2023. This is just the beginning. Number 1, no urgency. Number 2, not learning or discovering the trends, not looking into and researching trends, $1 trillion trends, faster vehicles. Number 3, not doing what you said you're going to do. All right. This could ruffle feathers a little bit, so hopefully enough to get you to move and gain some clarity. And this isn't being cocky, this is being confident because I come from like experience on all the stuff that I used to do that completely it stops you, it stalls you out. Number 4, expecting a high level of income with a low level of skill. And number 5, stepping up the stairs. And I'll go through that. All right. So, oh man, one drowning person is useless to another drowning person, right? I never even thought I'd be helping people or teaching people or mentoring or any of that. I didn't even know it was possible to be getting paid out of many different countries and make money 24/7, have the life, live towards the beach, surf every day, be a present father, and be a freaking beast. Like, I can feel myself getting more confident. And I used to be a people pleaser and care what people thought about me and all this stuff, man. Once you have a trained mind, it's not that you're successful or not, it's that you have a trained mind or not. So grateful for going into being able to be at a certain level and going into a state of flow and understanding how that feels. Oh man, crazy. So number 1, no urgency. What do I mean by that? Well, look, 100% of people want to have the life and be wealthy and have time freedom and do whatever they want and travel the world and whatever the big dreams. But 99% of people don't have that. All right, so it takes a completely different type of thinking, and every day matters. Every day that you don't work on your dream and have clarity on where you're going and work on and find the vehicles, with urgency, every day that you don't is another day you're not retired early or financially free, right? And so we've all heard this catchy phrase, financial freedom and all that stuff, but it's pretty elusive for most people. Would you agree? It's 99% of people don't have it. So my whole thing, and by the way, I might put this on YouTube and you'll see it around pages or wherever I'm going to put this, but I'm moving to Rumble, the other platform where video streaming and stuff, and moving to other pages. So you can look for Mr. Contrary at Mr. Contrary, because you got to think opposite of the 99%. Because would you agree the 1%ers, the top 1%, think differently? All right. So urgency. I know a lot of people that like ask me questions and I tell them what to do and then they don't go do it, right? Or we set an appointment and then they let life come up, right? And so if you don't have a plan for your life, somebody else does. That's called Parkinson's law, where if you don't fill the slot and get clear on your own core values and what's important, and you don't fill the slot with that, the activities that you must do to get to where you're really trying to go, to what's important, if you don't fill that slot, it will be filled by something else, right? If you don't have a plan for your life, someone else will. So urgency, you need to act, like not think, just do. Take action. Life is going to try to come up. There's never a good time. There's never, like, people are like, oh, they let things come up and let other people, oh, come to my barbecue. Hey, let's go out. And so when it's time to get down and learn and do what you need to do, it's funny how stuff comes up, right? And so you don't let other things come up and get in your way. You got to have urgency and importance on this stuff. That stops people. Literally, they kind of postpone. And the reason that they do that, I know this, because it happens a lot. They procrastinate because it's uncomfortable. They're in a comfort zone, and nobody wants to admit that they're in a comfort zone, right? So if you're uncomfortable, we all avoid being uncomfortable. So learning something new that's unfamiliar, that means uncomfortable. We're going to avoid it, and we're going to switch and kind of try to shift to doing something like the dishes or something that's less uncomfortable, like easier, where you don't have to learn anything new and try anything new and do anything new and unfamiliar, right? So that's the problem. And so sometimes I'll have to make it more uncomfortable to stay where you are than to make the change, because staying there, making a change means uncomfortable, and that means stretching yourself, which is uncomfortable, stretching. And so you won't go outside of that comfort zone. And so it has to be more painful to stay where you are than to make the change. All right, so sometimes you got to use the pain as leverage and think to yourself, man, what if I don't make changes? Things are going to stay the same. Do I really want this life? Right? Or do you want more? What happens is we have these big dreams, we want more, and then we're told and programmed for all the mediocrity, go to school, get a job. So then we go to school, get some job, then we get the job, and we have to kind of shrink our dreams to match the income. And then people end up forgetting about their dreams. But getting, back to those dreams is like you have to learn things you didn't know before and do things you didn't do before to get what you never had before, right? So that's the uncomfortable thing. So you got to create urgency and leverage with the pain of what's going to happen when you don't do it. All right, number 2, trends. $1 trillion trends. Learning new vehicles. I see the problem that people have is like they kind of stick to what they know, and maybe they've even built an identity, right? Like I know a lot of professional athletes and stuff that like they think they're a certain, like I'm a pro snowboarder, or I'm a lawyer or doctor, and we start to think, identify as that, instead of, no, what do I want my life to be like, and what business vehicles can I use to get me the life that I'm looking for? Because a lot of times, if we identify as something, we don't really understand what that's really going to get us. Most doctors, lawyers, professionals are burned out and bitter by the time they're 55, because they kind of are a slave to their practice, and just kind of bitter because they're working for linear income. Okay. So knowing trends, let me give you a thing, like an analogy that will help you maybe opt into thinking about reinventing yourself a little bit and developing and coming to that comfort zone to learn something new. All right. So a mentor of mine, multi-millionaire, taught me like this. He said, look, man, I don't care how good you are, how smart you are. You told me what you wanted. You got really clear on your big dream and your big goals, and you want freedom and blah, blah, blah. You want to be able to travel and have freedom, be around your kids and stuff. So it's kind of like this. Say we're racing down a street. We're going to race down a street. And he goes, you could be a pro badass, pro race car driver. You went to school on it. You've practiced for a long time. And you're in a Volkswagen Bug and I'm in a Ferrari. Who's going to win? I'm like, Ferrari. And he said, yeah, and if we switch cars and you're in the Ferrari and I'm in the Volkswagen Bug, who's going to win? I said, still the Ferrari. Yeah. So he said, it doesn't matter how smart you are, what you how good you are at whatever you do. It's the vehicle, it's the business vehicle you're using that you choose to use to get you where you want to go in your life. Right? And so sometimes it's not sometimes, forever, because the world changes all the time. You got to pay attention to where all the money is flowing. Baby boomers, millennials, new trends, AI, right? DNA, where all the money is going to flow. And if you help the most people get what they want, you're automatically wealthy. And if you think 10 years ahead, you think, okay, where is this group of people going to go, the biggest groups of people? Where are they going to be in 10 years? What are they going to be needing in 10 years? And when you're able to kind of plan that out, you have 10 years to get good in that industry, which that gives you plenty of time to know what you're doing in the industry. And that means you're prepared when the opportunity happens. There's no luck in wealth. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That's what that is. So that's what I did. I read uh, The Wellness Revolution 15, 20 years ago, and I knew that was coming, $1 trillion industry. I got in front of it and made millions of dollars, right? Helping people get what they want. So things like AI, DNA, we know where all these vehicles are, working with the Wall Street companies and best business models, using social media and the platforms to get in front of things and have things working for you 24/7. And this whole residual leveraged passive recurring income thing, you got to pay attention and study. And the same amount of work that you're already doing, you're already going to work hard anyway. But if you worked that's even a fraction of your effort into a faster, better business vehicle, you turn a 40-year plan where you're working 40 or 50 hours a week for the next 45 years to retire with nothing. You can turn that into a 5 to 10-year plan and set yourself up, right? And knock out the money problem. You just work smart instead of hard. You knock out the money thing, then you don't have to worry about money. Then you can do your passions and live that life of freedom, right? Freaking amazing. Okay, so that was number 2. Learn about new trends, do your research. That'll help so much, right? Be able to reinvent yourself, right? Not doing what you said you're going to do. Number 3, a lot of people, they'll ask me, oh man, I'm tired of working for the man. I'm tired of being broke. I want to be around my kids and have freedom like you. Okay. And I say, okay, here's what you need to do first before go even do anything is go get the book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay, it says right there on the cover of that book what the rich people teach their kids about money that the poor and the middle class do not. Say, go get that book. You can get it used on Amazon for like $1, $2, right? Show up in a couple days, or even sometimes even same day. Or with the used books, they'll send it slow, like maybe a week or something. And I say, so get that book. When you're done reading it, call me back. Well, you know what happens? They never call me back because they didn't go get the book. They didn't do what they said they're gonna. They're like, oh, okay, yeah. Or else they'll set an appointment. Yeah, okay, I want to talk this, and then they don't. Something comes up. They let life come up, right? And they don't do what they said they're gonna do. They don't show up for themselves, right? So I told my own son, look, man, every time you just talk and you don't do, if you're all talk and oh yeah, and you're yes man or trying to look good or whatever, right? You say, oh, and things are exciting maybe in the moment, but you don't lock it down and do what you said you're going to do and show up like you said you were going to do. Well, you mess up your own self-confidence and your own integrity with yourself, and you're losing credit with people, because that's how you build credit in a bank, right? You do what you said you're going to do, you pay your bills, and your credit score goes up. Well, that's how it is with respect and people, credibility, integrity. But even worse is like when you don't do that, you let yourself down, which messes up your confidence. So you won't even set new goals or have bigger dreams or anything because you're afraid of letting yourself down again. So you won't even set it or set goals or have dreams or any of that because you don't want, subconsciously, you don't want to set yourself up for failure, right? So you wouldn't believe what happens when you become a person of integrity, do what you said you're going to do. I had to work on that for straight up 10 years, decade, just to... I didn't have, people around me that were teaching me this, that programmed it into me from a young age. Some people already have it. They have the edge. Some people got to work on that, right? And I'm still working on it. And it makes all the difference in the world. In fact, successful people have a code, a language. They can tell by your language patterns. If you even say, oh yeah, I'll try. That's a fail word. They already know, I'm not going to mess with them. It's going to take too long. I'll let the books... maybe hopefully help them. If they want it bad enough, they'll read the books, but I'm not going to sit there and try to reprogram them, rewire them for years and years, right? Or it's like, if you don't show up when you said you were going to do it, then you don't want it bad enough, right? So remember that. Do what you say you're going to do. Decide to do something, commit and knock it out. Get it done. Don't procrastinate. No excuses, no stories. You can either have success or you have excuses and stories, but you can't have both. All right, number 4 is a big one in today's world. All this crap, ads and make money with my simple system and all this stuff, and everybody thinks they're going to make a high level of income with a low level of skill. And there is none of that. There's no get rich quick. Everybody's looking for the easy way, and they're never going to find it Because it doesn't exist. That's why 99% of people don't have the dream life like the 1%ers. There's a reason for that. So expecting a high level of income for a low level of skill, it's kind of like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be I want to get paid as a pro snowboarder," but you suck at snowboarding, right? There is not one industry that you can name that you can have a super low level of skill and a high level of income. It does not exist. I don't care. Athletes, musicians, artists, doctors, lawyers. You go to school for 8, 10, 12 years. There's a golden rule. It's called it's a golden rule. 10,000 hours or 10 years of practice and training until you have specialized skills, and then you're in the big money. You're a pro, right? And you can actually go into flow state when you're at those levels of awareness deep in the subconscious, already just a reflex for you. Get the book, The Outliers, and it explains that, right? Then you have a high level of income with skills. That takes years. People, like I said, successful people have a kind of a code, a language that they know. If they see people dabbling or trying, I'm going to try it out. I always joke with people. I'm like, well, do you have a job, right? Yeah. Okay, do you try to go to your job? Like, do you wake up and go, I'm going to try to make it today? No, you just freaking go. You do it. You take action and you get off your ass and you freaking do the thing. You got to do the thing. You got to commit, right? But when you have your own businesses, when you're being an entrepreneur, you get up, you do it whether you feel like it or not, and you're consistent. Okay, and you're not expecting that high level of income. People dabble and try things out in home business and hope to have their own business, and they quit in like 6 months or a year, 2, 3 years, and no. Never expect to have that high level of income with a low level of skill. Okay, number 5. Stepping up the stairs. You know what people do? They look at that mountain, they look at the mountain, they go, oh man, it's a huge mountain. They just sit there and stare at it. They stare up the stairs. They don't step up the stairs. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? One step. You just got to keep taking the one little step every day. Get 1% better, stronger, more determined, stronger up here mentally. Gain some stamina. Learn your stuff. Be in the right environment. Stay plugged in. Be consistent. One little bit and take one step forward to get better every single day. That's all it takes. Don't just stare up the mountain. Stare up the stairs. You step up the stairs, which means people have egos, okay, and especially guys. So I wanted to make sure and do the invite because I had a huge ego that's completely sabotaged me from, dropping my ego and asking questions, reaching out and asking. In all these wealth books, they say look for the people who have the life that you want and ask them, because wealthy people, you wouldn't even think it, but they love to talk about themselves and talk about how they did it, and they love to give up the information. It's just that people don't ask them. And then sometimes the people ask them, and then they'll tell them all excited, and then then they won't do what we said to do, right? And it's like, okay, so look for drop the ego, right? I had to drop my ego and ask, because when we ask, it almost makes us feel like we're like, oh, I don't want to look stupid because I should know this, right? That comes from the corrupted school system, where if you raise your hand and it's in a public environment and you raise your hand and you say the wrong thing, you answer the wrong answer and everybody laughs at you, and so we don't want to ask questions because we're going to look stupid. Look, you gotta reach out and ask, because the wealthy people aren't gonna just go out of their way and try to sell you on why you can do it and why blah blah blah. You have to reach out and ask them, and they're so happy to help. Like, I love doing this stuff. I love jumping on Zoom. I love rewiring people. It's like a passion. I never thought I'd be teaching, but you'd have to reach out and ask, right? So I want to tell you, it's totally fine. I'm not like a guru. I'm not even doing this I don't want to be an I never wanted to be an influencer or like try to be out there, but I see these problems and it's just so simple and so easy to learn a few things that you didn't know, kind of get clear on the blind spots so you can move forward, and to rewire people and watch them making it is insane. So freaking stupidly easy. But first you have to reach out and ask questions and stuff like that, right? So I look around for the. I'm gonna drop. If it's YouTube or Rumble or whatever, I'll have links. Or if it's on a page, I'll drop a tab or a button and look, take action, right? Reach for the next steps, because you have to have a lot of times like a coach or a mentor that can help you get clarity. Clarity is power. But if you're not even clear or aware of your blind spots, you got no chance. It's kind of like trying to play chess. I'm playing chess with my 9-year-old lately. And like, before when he didn't know the rules, and like say I know all the rules and he doesn't know the rules to the game, what are his chances of winning? Nothing. And that's the 99%, because they don't reach out and ask questions and get clear and all that kind of stuff. So reach out, look for the links for the next steps. And that urgency thing, okay, you hang around me for 12 months or in the environments that we hang out with these workshops and seminars and events. We're doing a big event soon in Colorado. But 12 months goes by really fast, okay? Every day that you don't work on this is another day you're not retired or financially free. And what if all it did, like you reached out, you got some breakthroughs, and what if all it did is bring you in an extra 500 or $1,000 a month, right? Well, that's $12,000 raise that you got over the next year. Do you think you're going to get better and better the next year, right? What if all it did was like you didn't know about tax laws and tax rules, and you literally, by not knowing this and just being an employee getting burned by taxes and everything, you're losing, $10-20 per day not knowing this stuff, right? What if all it did was save you $10,000 in taxes next year? Would that impact your life, right? So go down below, click to the next link, look around for solutions, reach out, DM. We have emails and autoresponders and all that kind of stuff, and you can go through a little survey funnel, jump on. I give free consultations sometimes, depending on the time, if I have time, but hopefully that was valuable. You don't have to like or share or whatever. Like, I don't do any of the influence stuff. I just like to do this to see who sees it and put the video. I make pages and all kinds of fun stuff. So anyway, see you on the next one. Later.